Hi students, this is Dr. Newmark here. I'm recording a video for you to explain your data visualization project. Okay, so this is a brand new version of this project for this semester. And I know that in reading this 3-page assignment, it's probably going to be very overwhelming, but let's approach this in the same way as the cliched expression goes, that you would eat an elephant bite by bite, right? So read it through and then think about all the little bites you need to take in order to accomplish this whole assignment. Okay, so the main goal of this assignment is for you to take a big volume of numerical data and re-envision it in a smaller, more digestible form for a particular audience. So as you'll see, I've linked you to the newmexico.gov compilation of US Census data. So this link takes us to this page. So the first thing that the assignment asks you to do is spend about 30 minutes just clicking around on this website. And you'll reach a lot of like dead ends that you think are like too overwhelming, or maybe your browser can't handle that amount of data, or you're not sure how to reduce it down from all New Mexico data to data that concerns Bernalillo County, or data that concerns a particular zip code, 87106, or whatever your 88317, whatever your home community in New Mexico is. You might not be able to figure that out, but hopefully by clicking around and playing with it, you will be able to. So these go to Census, US Census Bureau products, these 6 bullet points here. Now these ones down further have historical census data from 1910 to 2010. That's also really interesting. And then we have this other data down here, race, Hispanic, Latino, and age. These date from New Mexico and counties, profile of general demographic characteristics. So there's a lot of different things that you can find. So set yourself a timer of 30 minutes and just start clicking around. After you've done that part of the assignment, you have to decide what that you encountered interested you most. So I have a few examples here. Are you interested in historic population data from northeastern New Mexico between World War I and World War II? Maybe that's interesting to you. Or you want to learn about the number of New Mexicans who moved out of the state or into the state during a certain period of time, like 2015 to 2020. Maybe that's interesting to you. Or demographic data that relates to women or to children or something like that. So you have to pick a subcategory. Now, I say here that I know you're not a statistician, unless you are, in which case you can tell me, but I just want you to start thinking about, given the category that you're looking into, what kinds of trends and phenomena are you starting to see? What do you think is interesting? So don't just plop the statistical data that you've found into an AI tool and ask it to process it for you and find the themes and trends for you. I'm going to come back to AI usage at the end of this video, but I want you to take a really messy array of information and try to make it neat and digestible. That is going to exercise your critical thinking and interpretation skills, which is a major part of this assignment. Okay, that's all your background research described quickly. So then you have to create a deliverable. This deliverable can be a trifold brochure, it can be a video, it can be a presentation, a slide presentation with a voiceover like you would give at a conference or at a meeting. It could be anything in which you are showing data visualizations, okay? So you, as the student, get to decide what your deliverable is. So you're picking the audience for this deliverable, and you are designing the deliverable to meet that audience's needs. So I ask you, who is your audience? This has to be something that you hone in on really precisely. It can't just be like the UNM community or Americans. It could be a specific office within the UNM community, like the Associate Provost for Student Success, or is that an Associate Dean? I'm not sure, but a particular audience. And then Americans, what particular subpopulation are you really concerned about? You have to come up with a specific audience there. So in order to figure out how you're going to design your deliverable, you need to understand your audience well. Okay, so I want you to compose as the very first page when you submit this, a scenario statement and an audience statement. Those will be on the same page. It's all explained here. Then in the deliverable itself, you're going to have 4 different kinds of data visualizations. As I say here, are you going to use bar graphs? Are you going to use data maps? Are you going to use line graphs? Are you going to use a scatter plot? These have all been discussed in the chapters in this module, in addition to the supplementary readings that I have assigned on top of the textbook readings. Okay, so in your, let's say you're doing a brochure, it'll be preceded by this statement that tells me who the audience is and what the context of use is. That's your scenario statement. Then you'll have the brochure and it'll have the visualizations, but it will be designed like you were giving it, let's say, to the Associate Dean for Student Success. It would have to be designed in a way that would resonate with them, and would have to have also enough sort of descriptive text around the visualizations to explain what they're showing and make a persuasive case as to why it's important to this office or this particular audience, and it's going to change certain behaviors that they have. Okay, so you have your preceding statement, which tells me who the audience is, and the scenario statement. Then you have your deliverable. As I describe here, these are the things that you have to produce. Then you also include a 2-page reflective memo that goes through all of these things listed here, introduces the project, introduces the audience. Again, you've already done that in that preceding page, but you're doing it again in the reflection. You explain your research process, your challenges, your greatest achievements. You're going to explain how each graphic effectively shares information with your chosen audience, and explain how your graphics serve a purpose. And then you're going to use evidence from our readings to back up what you're saying about the efficacy of these particular graphics for conveying important parts of this raw data, this numerical data. Now, the last thing that you need to submit is your AI statement. This you can do as a document of its own at the end of the packet that you're submitting, the PDF packet, or you can just put it right into Canvas in the comments box. Okay, now this assignment, I know, is going to be very tempting to use AI to help you. And yes, technical communicators do use AI tools in their workplace. But my job as a university educator is to help you understand the rudiments of this field, how to do this work on your own, and then we can work on how to use AI to support you. So it's really important that you try to do the elements of this assignment, like the foundational research and the assessment of the data, on your own with your own brain, with your own critical thinking skills. If you do use AI for certain parts of this, in your AI statement, you need to, as I write here, and I'm just going to read this to you so you don't misunderstand me, you need to specifically detail what, if any, AI tools you used. If you use ChatGPT, tell me that you use that product. If it's a different product, tell me that you use that. So what prompts did you input into it? Specifically include in your statement what inputs you put in, why you use these, the content, the prompts generated from the AI tool, whether any of your final draft content was generated by AI, and how many AI supported research, development, composing, revising, and finalizing practices you used, and how these helped support your learning of our course learning objectives. Now, this is very important. Do not put this prompt, any of this content that I have written in this assignment at all, any of it, into an AI tool. It is my intellectual property as your professor, and I have not given you permission to share it with an AI company to train its programs. Do not do it. Don't use my language to ask it to generate a response for you. That's really important, and I hope you can empathize with that from an intellectual property standpoint. Similarly, I don't put your writing into an AI tool. There are some slippery areas, and we can talk about those perhaps in another context, around universities who have part of their technology packages AI resources, and whether you've already authorized UNM to sort of mine your educational materials to be used in conjunction with AI, or to train it, or to refine it for educational applications. We'll have to talk about that at another time. But what I am telling you right now is with this on the surface, like pretty challenging assignment, I don't want you to put this content in there. That would be a violation of our pact, right? The syllabus is a contract. These assignments are a contract. I don't want you to violate that. Anyway, enough scare tactics there. These are the details. So the deliverable is worth 50 points. The reflective memorandum is worth 40. It's close. It's almost worth as much as the deliverable. And then your AI statement is worth 10 points. So I will share with you rubrics that have more specific numerical details beneath these capacious categories of like 50 points or 40 points. But for now, that's what's included. Now, before I end this video, I just again want to, this is where you'll be taken from that link in the assignment. This is an example from previous students who did this project as a group project. I have made it an individual project because it's very hard to manage group projects in an online class, and you're already doing one with a teammate for your reading presentation. So we're going to just do this as an individual project. So this is a trifold brochure that a student group did last semester, actually 2 years ago, and they were using UNM enrollment data only. You guys are using census data related to the state of New Mexico, so it's somewhat different. And they were creating a brochure for the College of Arts and Sciences in which they represented some specific statistical information concerning enrollment. That's what they chose to focus on. So you can see the different kinds of graphics that they use here and how it's all accompanied by text. So I just pulled up one of these for you and I've anonymized it because I don't want to reveal the student's information here. But you can see they do a really nice job coming up with a coherent, aesthetically whole trifold brochure. Again, you can do any output that you think is appropriate for this, the sharing of this kind of information. Okay, then finally, this is the 2-page memorandum. They had a little bit of a different set of instructions for me for what they needed to do in the reflective memorandum, but they were really, really thorough. And then they explain specifically what resources from our text, or from our course, help them to make these decisions. Mark Helen Selber, Tufte, they quote from these texts, they quote from the textbook, and then they have a nice in conclusion section. Okay, so that's a little bit of an overview on this brand new assignment, this brand new version of this assignment. I hope this video has been helpful to you. And please let me know if you have any questions. From the day this was posted to the day that it is due in its final form, you have 1 month to complete it, but the peer review is due earlier than that 1 month time frame. Anyway, have a great rest of your day.